The majority of people think that we have explored all the creatures on this planet, but the truth is far darker. There are still vast areas of the Earth untouched. Deep oceans, remote forests, desolated areas that no one goes in, locations where unusual forms gambulate without any sound, and where whole communities describe having encountered things that no science can ever create an explanation of. Fishermen talk of huge shadows which appear under their boats. Mountain men are listening to the unnatural screams of the Virgin Valleys. Pilots see huge winged beings floating over storm clouds. These are not the ancient book legends, but new accounts of modern persons of other nations who tell of the same impossible things which they were never meant to have seen. So what is lurking darker in the darker side? And 70% of the Earth is still unknown? Now we are going to expose the secrets that will not be buried, the things that have been feared, seen, and talked about decades ago. This is Top 7 Mystic Animals Uncovered, and all that you are about to hear might not be dead. Let's get into it. 1. The Ningen. You are a researcher boat passing through the Antarctic waters at 3 a.m. The ocean is black glass. You are half frozen on watch when something pale comes to the side of the ship. Initially, you are of the opinion that it is an iceberg, but icebergs don't have arms. 20 to 30 meters long, completely white, molded in the form of a man. No face, no eyes him not on, weapons which have huge stumps. Under the water, there passes something as of the tail of a mermaid, driving this giant through the chilling darkness. It glides under the ice, keeps pace with your ship, then dives, gone. This is the Ningen. These were initially reported by Japanese fishing crews in the early 2000s. Several witnesses, who were not closely associated with each other, who had described the same creatures. Pale, human-shaped giants. Some with legs, others with tails, all massive, white, unsettling. Ships fitted with sonar found colossal moving objects that were not whales, were not submarines, were not in a database. The Japanese government is claimed to have investigated, covered up research findings, ordered research teams to keep silence. According to scientists, it is whales in unusual poses, but whales don't have arms. Whales do not swim in a vertical manner. Expert sailors are familiar with the appearance of whales. The Antarctic Sea is hardly studied. The caves, trenches, ecosystems that we have never seen are beneath the ice sheets. Was there something great and white to live there? And something grew dark and grew smooth in the skin and vast in fertile waters. Fishermen still see it, and they're terrified. But when the Antarctica conceals monsters under the ice, what are lurking in the blackest jungles? 2. The Ahool. Night in the rainforests of Indonesia. The jungle goes quiet. Then you hear it. There is something flying in the dark, wings 10 feet across, leathery, blocking stars, red eyes, teeth. This is the Ahool. One was discovered by Dr. Ernest Bartels in 1925 in the waterfall. He woke up to that scream and saw a bat-like animal so huge as to make him believe it was a flying ape. The issue, the wingspan of the largest known bat is 5 feet. The Ahool is double that. Gray hair, flattened nose, forearms as fat as human. Local tribes have known about it for generations. Giant bat, red eyes, horrible scream. They avoid valleys after dark, never camp near caves because the Ahool hunts. The villagers discover cattle with empty blood, clawed footprints that belong neither to known living beings. Occasionally, individuals do not come out of the forest. According to scientists, this is a kind of folklore, but they are unable to understand why witnesses who were separated by decades relate the same creatures. Why do the sightings happen around the same regions? What made huge nail impressions on trees? Indonesian jungle is not much explored. Millions of acres that man seldom trespasses. The canopy is dense such that researchers constantly make new discoveries. A giant bat could hide easily, and unless it is a lot smarter than we believe, except where it actively discriminates humans. The Ahool might be extinct, might be myth, or could be looking down unmapped cave systems till nightfall. By the way, there is a cave in South Africa in which something worse lives. 3. Grootslang, South Africa's Richtersveld, scorching deserts, rocky mountains, dark caverns their inhabitants keep saying never enter. Something is inside and so it lives. Something ancient, the Grootslang, half elephant, half serpent. When gods made animals, it is said that they erred with the Grootslang. They made it as big as an elephant and as strong as a serpent, but cunning as a serpent and stinging like a serpent. Having realized that they were wrong, they divided it into two animals. But one of them fled away into caves along the Orange River. And it's still there, over 40 feet long. The front side is like an elephant and is equipped with trunk and tusks. However, where legs ought to be, there is a huge serpent body that has scales on it. Some say it breathes fire. Others say it spits flesh, eating venom. And it protects the Wonder Hole, a cave purported to have diamonds stuffed in it. This is almost a far-fetched fiction until you look at the disappearances. In this place, miners and explorers have disappeared during a century and a half. They got into cave systems and they never emerged. No bodies, no equipment, just gone. Local tribes refuse to go near certain areas. They leave offerings at cave entrances. They tell stories of hearing something massive in underground tunnels, seeing tracks that match no known animal. In 1917, a mining exploration discovered tremendous snake-like drag marks at the entrance of a cavern and also elephant footprints. The crew discarded their gear and took off. The caves of the Richtersveld are not well mapped. Unpredictable, hazardous, stretching indefinitely. Something might be lurking there forever. This folklore is referred to as science by scientists. But missing people are real. Abandoned mining activities exist. Perhaps the Grootslang perished 1,000 years ago. Or perhaps it is still wound about with diamonds in the dark. But not only caves conceal murderers. In some cases, they scramble on desert sand. 4. The Mongolian Death Worm. Gobi Desert kills in dozens of ways. Heat, cold, dehydration, or something worse. It is called Olgoi-Khorkhoi by the local nomads. The intestine worm. They are talking of it like a loaded gun. Deadly seriousness, absolute reverence. 2 to 5 feet long, blood red, thick as a man's arm, no eyes, no discernible head, simply writhing flesh which lives below sand and emerges to kill. It is said to spit acid which is concentrated and burns the flesh, or gives electric shocks that will kill horses. Touch it and die instantly. Approach it and it feels your feet, strikes in the sand. Nomads assert that it arises in the hottest months and usually after rain. It flows like waves over sand and leaves noticeable marks. Others claim that it is drawn to yellow. Some argue that it preys on vibration. Each of the sightings is a death omen. During the 1920s, Roy Chapman Andrews, a paleontologist, organized expeditions to Mongolia. Local guides would not carry on when he inquired about the death worm. They would not even mention its name because they thought that by talking about it, they would bring it. But Andrews had gleaned dozens of consistent stories of people who had never met. Same description, same behavior, same warnings. Several searches have been made, found nothing. Only more tales of townspeople who testify it is the case. Scientists are skeptical. No known worm or snake fits this description. No creature generates both acid and electricity. But the Gobi is vast, unexplored, with underground tunnels, hidden water sources, ecosystems we barely understand. Some researchers suggest an unknown amphisbaenian species. Others think giant beetle larvae. But nothing explains reported attacks. Nomads still believe. Still avoid certain areas when desert gets hot. If deserts hide killers in sand, imagine what stalks jungles so dense satellites can't see ground. 5. Mapinguari. The Amazon isn't just jungle. It is an alive maze with 430,000 species, so dense with trees that the forest floor is in constant twilight, and expeditions have been lost there months at a time. And there is a thing which walks on 2 legs, the mapinguari. The native tribes refer to it as giant, 7 feet tall, wrapped in fur with which he is impregnable. Its face has 1 eye in the middle. Its feet are backwards, and therefore foot tracks go contrary to the course. Some say its skin is armor. Some say that it has an other mouth on its stomach, which roars like thunder. Everyone concedes that it stinks, a smell so bad that people are forced to throw up 100 feet distant. The worst of them all, the mapinguari, was a human being. To shamans, this beast is a man turned into such a form as punishment of breaking sacred rules in the forest. A murderer who killed indiscriminately, who took excess, and who disturbed the balance of nature among the jungles. They were transformed by the forest into this monster as a punishment which is everlasting. This was not accepted by Western explorers until when they heard the same descriptions in tribes that had never been in touch. Same creature, same behavior, same warnings. It has been reported to be territorial and aggressive. It passes silently through bushes and then leaps with the deafening power of an earthquake. Survivors report a roar, which appears to be coming out of the ground. There is a theory of scientists. Perhaps it is a surviving ground sloth. The Megatherium lived in South America up to 10,000 years ago. 7 feet in height, shaggy fur, enormous claws, had ability to rise on hind legs. In case a group of people remained in the furthest corners of the Amazon, it might be the reason behind sightings. Yet that is no reason why you have the reverse feet, or single eye, or armor skin, or stomach mouth. Still, native guides deny some regions, offering still leaves at woody edges. From jungle floor to skies above, the next creature makes people question everything. 6. The Thunderbird. Suppose you looked up and beheld a bird 20 feet across in wingspan, large enough to shadow out your house. Then it takes off your livestock and flies. This is the Thunderbird. It was thousands of years of Native American tribe warnings. Every culture had a name. The myth told about a bird that was so strong that its wings produced thunder, its eyes produced lightning, and the storms trailed in its wake. The same was said in 1800s by settlers. Birds too large to be eagles, too violent to be vultures. Objects that assaulted horses, stole calves, moved round towns. A well-known event of 1890 reported that a giant bird was shot down in Arizona. They told about a creature with wings 20 feet across. Bat-like smooth skin, lizard-like head. There was a purported photograph of the carcass. However, that photograph has never been discovered. People swear they've seen it. Nobody can produce it. The picture is in the memory of the general, but was lost in reality. Newer sightings are kept on more recently. In 1977, 2 huge birds attacked a 10-year-old boy in Illinois, literally lifting him in the air and dropping him down. It was attested by several witnesses. In 2007, Pennsylvania truck drivers reported that a bird was flying alongside them on a highway at 65 miles per hour and beating its wings in a lazy fashion. Wingspan 15 feet. Scientists propose condors, false perceptions, mistaken airplanes. It may be that the Thunderbird is extinct, might be misidentification, or could be looking on high up in the air. But our last creature stepped into civilization and left behind him a body count which haunts France today. 7. The Beast of Jevodon. In 1764 to 67, something was preying on southern France. Something that murdered more than 100 people. Something that could not be held back. The Beast of Jevodon. Attacks were brutal. The beast did not attack cattle. It attacked human beings. Favoritism to women and children. Ripped throats off, decapitated bodies, tore them into the woods. Survivors reported of something huge and reddish-furred with huge teeth, power, exceeding anything. Different witnesses described it in the same way. Bigger than all wolves, enormous head, small pointed ears, huge chest, long tail with black tuft. Some said, like a hyena stripes. Others said a peculiar dark line along its back. The French government did not pass it lightly. King Louis XV dispatched his finest hunters, professional wolf slayers, military units, hunting events of hundreds of people. They killed dozens of wolves, including unusually large wolves. Attacks continued. The large wolf-like stealth was finally killed by hunter Jean Chastel in 1767. Attacks stopped, but on an examination of the body, there was something wrong. even bigger than any European wolf. Unusual teeth, wrong proportions, human remains had been found in stomach. What was it? Others think that it was a runaway hyena in a private zoo. Size and behavior would fit. It is believed by others that it was a prehistoric dire wolf that somehow isolated itself. The dire wolves became extinct 10 millennia ago. There is a disturbing theory of a hybrid. Crosses between wolves and dogs are bigger and more ferocious. The creation of a monster by a person through the intentional breeding would provide reasons behind development of strange traits. Or perhaps a now extinct species, something that was lost before science could become definite. Attacks were real. Deaths were real. There was no explanation of whatever made them defiant over the course of 3 years. In the civilized Europe, even with armies and hunters, the beast has demonstrated that something unknown could kill freely. This did not occur in deep jungle. This happened in France, in villages, and wherefore at safety should they have been? And what is there now had something so dangerous then concealed in the 1700s France? 7 creatures, hundreds of witnesses, 0 answers. The most disturbing part? These observations are on the rise. More cameras, more explorers. Further indication that something that cannot be is real. What lies in the 95% of the ocean we have not visited? Can stalking through jungle satellites penetrate? You have just heard what there is out there. Now strike subscribe. Post a comment about the monster which scares you the most. And were you shown something that you could not explain? Tell what it was. The unseen is nearer than it appears. Stay curious.